BumbleKast Live. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hello, we're here, and the things have gone. We hit the go button. Actually, the go button hit itself like real early. Like the go button really just went off. So here we are, and you guys are insatiable. You have an insatiable lust for questions to be answered.
It's
So
good to
we're
have job security.
So we're going to answer the questions. Anyway, hi, we're a little late, but we're here and we're gonna do some things. How about that, Ian?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Thanks to Jennifer R. and Professor Rye, who are working behind the scenes to manage all your questions. With that in mind, please keep yourself to one question at a time. Don't ask another one until your first one has been answered. We will try to get to as many as possible. Super chats will get priority tonight. We will try to get through all of them. If not, any leftovers will be rolled over to the next available recording session. And we will also try to prioritize super chats that haven't been answered yet. So if you do lots of super chats, we really appreciate the support, but we're going to try to get one from everybody just because, it's the live thing. It's the special thing. Also, if you're waiting to hear your answer or once the show is done, head over to bumbleking.com and check out the link to the Sonic Superstars charity auction supporting the Sick Kids Foundation. There's a lot of Sonic Superstars memorabilia, lots of exclusive merch in there. There's also the game, and I will be signing just about all of it. Not the wall lamp, because that might be a hazard. I don't know. It's also like vacuum sealed, and I don't want to like take it out of the packaging and mess with it. So lots of great stuff. All the money goes to a wonderful cause. Give what you can and get lots of stuff in return. With all that out of the way, I believe it's time to start with the Q&A.
Let's do it. Starting with this one, we're gonna start with standard questions. This one is from Volcanic SF. So, when does Sonic Frontiers take place in terms of the comics?
After where we have seen thus far, once you see Sage show up, you know Frontiers has happened.
Is that a confirmation that Sage is going to show up?
I mean, I figure it's going to happen eventually.
Hashtag knowing smile?
No, just hashtag common sense.
So, in this fandom? What are you talking about? Here's one from Levi C. Starline's Isekai adventures continue. Now the platypus has ended up in the scary world of gargoyles and falls perfectly into Zanato's gambit. How will this adventure turn out?
He would totally think that he is on Xanatos's level and be preening around the castle office thing, wanting to play the 4D chess, and David's going to be kind of nodding along, going, "This guy's weird, but I've dealt with weirder." Okay, and let's basically feeds Starline enough rope to hang himself. So Starline will do something that he thinks is a genius move. Xanatos will just kind of smile and say, "Gotcha," and turn it completely on its head, become the victor of the scenario, and the Isekai adventures continue.
Literally hang himself, probably.
I mean, gargoyles could get dark. That's a possibility.
Certainly. All right, here's one from DDR Master M. Home Alone scenario. Cream and Cheese are stuck alone defending Thorndyke Mansion from the wet bandits. What traps would she come up with? What does Vanilla do to get back?
Uh, honestly, does she need to have traps? She has cheese.
She's cheese.
I mean, I know that's the boring answer. That's not what you want, but they come through the door and she's like, "Cheese, get them." And that's the end of the fight. They're out. They're cold clocked twice over. She calls the police. They're hauled away. It's a 5-minute encounter. And I guess I know why you're asking this. You want me to riff on it. I don't think she would be rude enough to use the Thorndyke's stuff to make traps. It's not her house. It's not her things. She's not going to go digging through their stuff and potentially damage their property. That would make her a bad house guest. So no, she's just going to kind of hide and watch. And when the wet bandits start to do something naughty, here comes Cheese and bada bing, bada boom. And Vanilla is very happy that, she was so resourceful and so respectful of other people's property this whole time.
Yep, yep. All right, guys. If your question is not on the list yet, and you asked it before any of the ones we've already answered, then that means you asked too early. Just putting that out there. Here's one from Happy Times. Could the ruined dinner in number 65 and 66 have been avoided if Vanilla just stayed and found a substitute for butter, like, say, margarine?
But no, because clearly that is not an acceptable substitute. You might as well use Basel or something, you monster. You absolute brute.
And
Could have been
so,
avoided if Rough and Tumble just happened to have butter when they arrived. And then she could ask politely if they would contribute and invite them to dinner as well. And then it would have been lovely.
mm-hmm. All right. And here's one from The Last Baby Man. If Conquering Storm and the Raiju was present and on Robotnik's side during the Imperial City arc, how would her ninja clan fare against the new Diamond Cutters?
Uh presuming that the Diamond Cutters didn't get stuck in like that halfway dimension point and were just there to beat up some ninja, I think it'd be a fairly even encounter overall. I think between Whisper's weaponry and skills, Tangle's just tenacity, and Lanolyn's kind of OP Wispon herself, they'd be able to hold their own, but the Raiju would have superior numbers. So they'd be able to take care of themselves, maybe not make headway, but I think they'd be able to hold on. And then once Conquering Storm got into the mix, then she would do the badass thing where she takes everybody out, and oh no, our heroes are in peril. And that's when Sonic arrives and saves the day, and it basically writes itself. It's paint by numbers.
All right, let's do some super chats. Here's a very early one. You shouldn't really ask him this early, but you know what? You paid, so you're in. This one is from Romero R. Shadow and Knuckles are entering the salty spittoon from SpongeBob, and they are asked, "Welcome to the salty spittoon. How tough are you? What do they do to prove their toughness?" I swear I can speak. Sometimes, occasionally. Not on this show, though.
Well, Knuckles makes direct eye contact and says, "I don't chuckle," and he gets let in. Shadow makes direct eye contact and says, "I'm the ultimate life form." And the bouncer's like, "You said that with a straight face. On purpose. You gotta be tough to back that up. Get in there."
Guess so. That was easy. All right, here's one from Tristan. Everyone in the main Sonic cast gets a perfect copy of themselves. No evil clones or poor knockoffs. 100% perfect. How does everyone react? Can include IDW.
Let's see. We'll just pick a handful here. Sonic has an adventuring buddy that can actually keep up with him. And they're just going to continue to one up each other and challenge each other to go to greater extents and greater distances. And they just have a grand old time.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, if they're perfect copies, doesn't matter. It's just two.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have an actual incarnation of Knuckles and Knuckles,
True.
and they can trade off duties watching the Master Emerald while the other one actually experiences life.
Weird.
And
They'll experience different lives, but
well, yeah, Knuckles A comes back and says, "Oh man, I found all this cool stuff. You should totally check out XYZ." And then Knuckles B is like, "All right, I'll go do that." And they trade off. And I mean, they might have a multi-round of rock, paper, scissors decides who goes first, but they'll be fine. Amy has a new bestie. They get along great. they're able to do so much more for so many more people. Tails has someone who can keep up with him intellectually, but isn't, is also on his wavelength. So they're just kind of like think tanking 24/7. Generally, everyone's having a good time, except for Eggman. He goes to war with
I was gonna
himself.
say Eggman is absolutely miserable.
You have to be an exact copy. He's awful.
I'd never do that. Let's see. Hold on. There is one. Whisper keeps getting brought up. What do you think?
Um, hmm. That one might be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Like, she's a private person, and now there's someone who is like exactly her. That's doubling the exposure of her to the world.
Who knows
And
everything?
I don't know if she'd want to like hang out with herself. She's kind of good on her own, thanks. So I think it'd be kind of just a respectful nod to each other and go your separate ways type of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Meanwhile, Surge. It's kind of like Sonic, except more destructive, causing more mayhem.
I mean, if Surge doesn't know the context, she's going to be mad as hell that she missed out on yet another clone by Dr. Starline. And no, 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 no. It's bad enough there's one of her. There aren't going to be two.
I
And
guess
that's
that's
what the
true.
copy thinks as well. So there's some conflict at first until somebody manages to get through to them that no, you're just like carbon copies. Somebody hit Control V on the planet. And then they realize, oh, there's two of them. And then the mayhem ensues.
Yes.
Like one of
Oh.
them makes the connection. If there's two of everyone, that means there's two Sonics. That's two entirely too much. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's two of us now, which means double homicide. Yes, it does.
Sonic needs to be limited to one or less. It's true. Here's one from Supersonic fan. What would a Deadly Six Thanksgiving be like?
Are they physically capable of giving thanks
Hmm. Well,
to appreciate anything?
they certainly do appreciate all the evil and destruction they cause.
Oh, there's a very political joke I can make
They
here, but
they
let's
they
keep it.
appre-
Let's
they
keep it nice.
appreciate them. They
Uh,
appreciate themselves being able to do what they do. I
yeah, but
suppose.
they kind of hang out just because they work all right as a unit, but they don't really like each other.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it'd be like the worst possible awkward Thanksgiving scenario where everyone is gathered, but they don't want to be there. And you take your eyes off of Zamam for all of 2 seconds, and he's going to eat the entire spread. He's just going to lift the table, open his jaw, and swallow everything. Platter, cutlery, whether the food's fully cooked or not. The turkey isn't even carved. Just
delicious. All right, folks. Well, we have tons and tons of standard questions already. So, unfortunately, we are closing them. We are only 15 minutes in closing them. So, sorry about that. If you had a burning question, better luck next time. But super chats remain open, and any donations you want to send to us, keep them coming. So, thank you guys very much for your support and your questions. Go ahead and keep on rolling with this one from Zach D. Hi, Ian. If you could make an AU storyline about any of the 10 alternate endings of Shadow the Hedgehog, which would you choose and how would you write it?
I think the two most interesting ones to me are Shadow the Android Emperor and Shadow the Herald of the Black Arms. Like the full on evil routes. The protector of mankind and whatever in the hero routes, that's fine, whatever. That's more or less where we end up eventually. He's doing good by his own terms, whatever. But to have him go full evil, or I guess in the Android case, like true neutral,
Yeah.
It's those I feel like are the more interesting things. Like the true neutral angle almost could harken back. No, I was going to draw a parallel. I don't think that's accurate. Never mind. The point is, you would have him driven with a different ambition, to rule robot kind, to uh, lead them to some kind of glory. That's different. That's very different from what standard Shadow is. And then, just straight up evil harbinger of Black Doom, right hand man. That's just fun. Just unabashedly evil Shadow. It's, what else do you want? I mean, it's right there on the packaging. That's good stuff.
It is. Sounds good to me. And Sonic is also dead. I'm being reminded. There we go. Hero Squad has a question. When Froggy swallowed a Chaos Emerald, it grew a tail. What would happen if he got the rest of them? Would he be Perfect Froggy? What monstrosity would he be?
Sorry to burst your bubble, but that tail came from chaos. He was infected by or ingested, or he became bound to chaos that generated the tail. And that's what drove Froggy to get the Chaos Emerald, because it was Chaos's will saying, gather the emerald so I can wreak havoc on people. It was not the emerald, it was chaos.
Oh. Why?
As a matter of fact, if you watch the cutscene where Froggy is absorbed by Chaos 6, you can actually see the tail dissolve off of Froggy and return to Chaos 6 and become part of its body and attack patterns. And it bugs me because that tail is supposed to be naturally part of Chaos, so Chaos Zero should have a tail.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this sounds like that Froggy just needs to drink Perfect Chaos then.
Well, there you go.
And then he will become Perfect Froggy,
Just
as he
imagine that
should be.
that beautiful CG cutscene as the building, busts out window by window, and then all the water cascades out and then suddenly stops and surges back and reforms into this giant froggy head. Just, hi ho!
Hmm. 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 Terrifying. All right, here's one from some Blister 16. So in Scourge Frontiers, does he fight the beginning? How do you even rationalize an anti-end?
Uh See, this is where spinning out the whole mirrorverse thing, you got to be really careful on just how much you commit to the bit, because eventually it becomes almost bizarro world, and
Mm-hmm.
it just cannot function rationally, which is fine for bizarro because he's kind of like something of a walking punchline anyway. But with the antiverse, I would imagine for that it would still be the end, but where Prime the End sought to bring order through total neutralization, Anti the End would seek to bring total chaos via utter devastation. Same general principles, different flavor, different twist on it.
Alrighty.
And it shows up as a sun instead of a moon. There.
All right. Sure. The normal person has a question. Now let's switch children. What teachings can both a child and parent team with Cream and Kratos and Atreus and Vanilla?
What was the first
Well,
half of it?
okay. What teachings can now let's switch children. What teachings can both child and parent learn with Cream and Kratos and Atreus and Vanilla?
I see. I
Learn.
see.
I think I said team, but it's learn.
What does parent and child learn from each other if we swap the duos?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Um Atreus is learning proper etiquette from Vanilla, and Vanilla is learning all sorts of fun Midgardian magic that she can use in all sorts of useful ways, like telling the small house imps within her home to stop stealing the butter because you saw what happened last time, and promoting the flower gardens to bloom and to smite her enemies. It all works out. Um, Cream teaches Kratos the value of saying kind things to de-escalate confrontation. He already knows how to potentially walk away. We saw that with Balder. He gave Balder a chance. He really did. But perhaps if he had used his words in a different way, they could have found a solution. Which is naive, of course not, but it makes a certain degree of sense. And Kratos teaches her how to use the Blades of Fury.
Well, there you go.
She has the chains wrapped around her ears, so it's kind of like a death helicopter, but same general effect.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that sounds cool. As all heck. And murdery. All right, here's one from Scruffy Matt. In issue 6 of Mega Man, Dr. Wily kidnapped Roll and threatened to dismantle her if Rock didn't cooperate. Would he have actually gone through with it?
Uh Maybe. I mean, he really didn't like Roll, and she didn't like him right back, so there's a certain degree of animosity there. I don't know if he would fully disassemble, though, like to the point where she was unrecognizable. He might just spite her and disassemble so that the head is sitting on a shelf just to glare at him. Oh, what are you going to do? You can't sass me. I turned off your vocal chip. No, 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 no. And now you have to sit there and watch as I conquer the world. Something kind of petty, but
I mean, that's Wily for you.
ultimately he loves robots, so I don't know if he could bring himself to full on go super evil with Roll.
Nah, not him. Nah. All right, let's switch over to some more standard questions. This one's from Red Rebel. Can Supersonic's purifying ability cure Finitivus of his madness? Could enough brain trauma make Finitivus open his heart and make it be all right?
I don't think so. I think I think the neutralization properties are vague and whatever the plot requires. But Chaos was such a primordial being driven by an anger that I feel like is less of an emotion and more of a state of being, whereas Finitivus was evil and loving it. I mean, yeah, he was corrupted. What with the whole chaos energy negative flash thingy. So maybe he could neutralize it, but I don't know. I feel like there's a certain degree of, once Finitivus was altered, it just stuck. Like maybe what was in there was there all along. Just the events brought it to the surface.
Hmm.
Or maybe I'm being closed minded. Maybe Supersonic could say, "Ha ha, you're reformed." Boof. And Finitivus is like, "Oh, I was a bad person. I'm sorry."
Yeah, right.
What a terrible fate for a villain.
I know. It's awful.
Ew. Ew. He gets a healthy, glow to him again.
No,
Doesn't smile sinisterly anymore. Fate worse than death.
I don't like this. No. No. Super Shark Bait has a question. What should I do if Surgeon Kid break into my house?
Hide. Supplicate.
uh,
Offer them cookies and riches and just try to stay out of their way.
uh, yeah, I suppose. I was just gonna say brace for impact, but and also hope you have insurance.
I mean, maybe start talking about how much you hate that jerk Sonic and how It's disgusting that everyone falls for that hero act. Just make
Yeah.
sure that you sound sincere, because if she thinks you're playing her, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, it's easy to play her because, she's not very social. She doesn't pick up on social cues very well, so. Here's one from Teleporting Lobo. In the spirit of November, what is each of the IDW cast thankful for? If that's too many characters, you can just do Cream, the Chaotix, Tangle, and Whisper. Thank you.
Uh, Cream is thankful for all her friends and her lovely family and her lovely house, and the list goes on for like a solid 5 minutes, but she's completely sincere. So it's like, wow, I'm ungrateful about my own life. This kid's got it figured out. Rough and Tumble. The joke answer is nothing, because they're jerks who take everything for granted. But by the end of whatever joke story that is, they realize they're thankful for each other's company because they enable each other. And that's not really a good thing, but it's heartwarming for the moment. And the Chaotix are thankful for, the team that they have, the bonds of friendship that have seen them through thick and thin. And boy, are they really thankful Vanilla invited them over for Thanksgiving, because they were going to be eating ramen, but she's done like the whole thing, the whole spread. It's great. They don't have to worry about it. And there's even leftovers. They get to, take that back. Oh, wonderful, wonderful holiday.
All right. Was that it?
Did I miss anybody?
Did you do Whisper?
I did not do Whisper. Whisper is thankful that she has found new friends that not only, you know, are friends, but that support her at her lowest and her worst and allow her a chance to grow and be better.
Good. Good, good, good. All right, here's one from Pedanticat. We've gotten to meet Sonic Man, but what would Tangle Woman be like, and how would Tangle react to her?
Tangle Woman basically is Sonic Man. It's just she wears like a stripy tail styled scarf, so it can flutter dramatically as she
Mm-hmm.
runs around and swings off of lampposts and parkours up buildings. Um, Straight up same kind of energy, you know, kind of take the base idea, dial it up to 11. That Super Sentai, lean into the act, and Tangle loves it. Like, she's totally flattered somebody is going to do the Tangle Woman style. That's great. That's hilarious. And you bet she's going to run around the city climbing on stuff with her. Come on, let's go. 2 points to vault off a car, 3 points if it's moving.
I mean, I'd watch that if it were a show. All right, here's one from Ethan T. With Rush occurring before '06, does this mean time flows in the Soul Dimension exponentially slower than in Sonic's universe? How many Sonic World months did Sonic and Tails spend in Blazes then?
I don't know.
Yep. Yep. Nobody knows. Chocolate Watermelon 28 has a question because we're going to go switch back over to some super chats for a bit. If Sonic's little sister from Shokugan were canonized, how would you add her as part of canon?
I would tie that into just the whole origin story with his parents and whatnot, and say that she's still living with / traveling with them. That Sonic has struck out on his own and has been doing his own thing this whole time, and then he touches base with the family, and it's like, how you been? Oh, you've gotten so big. That's cool. Keep doing your thing. Later. And he keeps on doing.
Nice. Here's a question from OzJam. Thanksgiving at Tails' place, and he decides to invite everyone he knows. Unfortunately, the Peck family of Adventures of were invited too. Is it traumatic terror for the turkeys, or is Clucky's the alternative?
The Peck family.
I do not remember this.
Give me just a second. Adventures of something Hedgehog Peck Family.
Hmm.
Google, what do we have here?
Peck. What the peck?
Oh, there. No, not the Gregory Peck official website. Google, you failed me. Blank-headed eagle? Is that the episode?
I have no idea. Like, man, this is a deep, deep, deep cut.
Okay, at a glance here, it looks like it might be some
Okay.
stereotypical country living turkeys.
Yeah. Daughter of Farmer Peck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she has a thing for Scratch because, of course. All right. And then, well, they show up for Thanksgiving dinner. And the question, of course, is what does one serve at a Nermy Thanksgiving dinner? What is the protein made out of? Are there little delicious little Cornish cluckies, or is it all like tofu based? We don't know.
Ian, stop trying to make Nermies a thing.
Only because it makes your skin crawl.
No, it doesn't really make my skin crawl. It just makes me cringe. And not in like a good way, like the funny cringe. It's like a really it's no good.
Mm-hmm.
It's no good. Don't do
That
that.
makes it very good.
It sounds like a disease.
The tests have come back, and I'm afraid to say you have stage 4 Nermies.
If you have Nermies, you need to go get that checked out. Yeah.
Side effects include temporary blindness, nausea, Nermies.
You know what? I'm glad they couldn't install your washer dryer today.
Oh, they did.
Oh.
They did. But when I measured it, I did not take into account the large decorative doors so that the laundry closet that it goes into can't be closed now.
Oh. Oh, okay. That's what's up.
But I'll fight with that later.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you can't close your doors. Now you have to listen to it loudly.
Oh my God, it sounds like Nermies fighting all the time.
Oh God, no. Sub DRC has a question. How would you show the dynamics of the Sonic, Shadow, and Silver and mirror them with the Maverick Hunters X-Zero and Axel?
See, that's fun because there is no super easy one-to-one between them.
No.
Like, sure, Sonic and X are heroes at heart, but they're completely different in their methodology.
Yeah.
Sonic is extremely carefree and he's driven by his own desire and he has no particular affinity for authority. Whereas X is very much, wanting to maintain and protect the status quo and is driven to help others but hates the battle itself. Like they're like oil and water. It would be fantastic to watch the two of them like bounce off each other and discuss their basic level philosophies and where the conflict is there. I mean, yeah, you've got like the cool alter version with Shadow and Zero, but Zero and I'm thinking more like post X3, maybe like your 7-ish era. Has kind of seen it all, done it all at this point. He's died enough times that he's like, yeah, whatever. He's kind of casual. He knows he's a badass. he can beat up just about anybody who's going to cause a problem, and he knows he's going to look good doing it. So there's a little bit of a swagger there that's fun. It's not like Sonic-esque ego, but it's this kind of base level, you don't want to start nothing with me because I already know how it ends. Whereas Shadow, he does have that kind of arrogance, but it's more in just how he does. It's not a question of if, it's just a fact of life that he's better than you and he's going to do whatever it takes to end the fight. Maverick or not, it doesn't really matter to him. If you're causing trouble, he's going to put you down. You can maybe find a little more parallel between Axel and Silver, what with their aspirations to be heroes, to do the best that they can for everybody, and that they are kind of late additions to the dynamic. But I feel like there's a little more, oh, what's the word I'm looking for with Axel? There's a self-assuredness and immaturity there that I don't think Silver has.
No, I agree with that.
It, it's a different degree of it. I mean, Silver certainly has his moments of self-assuredness. When he feels like he's ready to go into the fight and win and do what's right, he's dead set. He's confident in it. But it's more of this kind of pure heroism, and the self-doubt and the naivete come after the fact. That's the after action response. Whereas Axel's kind of thinking that Axel thinks he's the zero when he isn't there. Not really.
He thinks he's the hottest of hot poop.
Zero, everyone says you're the guy. I want to be the guy too.
No way, you're just a kid. Maybe when you're older.
Now I want to see Zero doing like a Sea Saber somersault going, hubbity hoop. Sigma, what are you doing?
I mean, that's exactly what.
What am I fighting for?
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
King of town is zombie Sigma. Nice, hello.
Nice, hello. Damn it. Oh man, I love Mega Man voice acting. It really just crappy translations. It's really kind of weird that Sonic has not had nearly as much of that as Mega Man has, but yeah, there's definitely some in there, but I guess that's the difference of being made for a Western audience versus not, I guess. Maybe. Anyway, here's a question from Tempo. Did they think to check under that one?
They did, and they didn't find it, but it's worth having a look.
Yeah, sure. Now I'm just imagining that it's Tangle and Whisper in this scenario. Check under that one. Nope. Here's one from Fox Guy. How would Bean react to Bomb from Hebby and Bomb? Love at first sight, or would he try to blow him up?
He'd wonder how one of his grew arms and legs and toddled off. He didn't remember making that one. And it's not responding to command. This is weird. He has to investigate this. Cue up like this entire subplot of him tracking Bomb as it toddles along, heedless of where it's going.
Good old Bomb. Here's one from Meta Mode. It's my understanding that Shadow doesn't exactly hate Sonic. He just finds him extremely irritating. Is that correct? Would he get along with Silver?
Roughly, yeah. It isn't that he hates Sonic. It's just he's not friendly to people. He's not a very personable person. So, Sonic has proven himself to be a worthy of existing on the same planet type of guy. Silver, I think, might still not quite have reached that bar yet. It's just he's tolerable. You know, he doesn't necessarily get in his way. He's prone to being kicked in the back of the head, so he knows he's easily neutralized. Whatever.
It's true.
Meanwhile, Silver's looking at Shadow and going, "They say you're the guy. I want to be the guy too."
He keeps saying that.
We've done it twice now. It'll be old after the third time, whenever that happens.
Yeah, no, it won't. Not to us, at least. I mean, it might be old to the listeners, but we don't do the show for them. Just kidding. Or am I? All right, let's do some standard questions for a bit. This one is from Kasaiti. Superstars was cool and all, and can't wait for the upcoming Fang comic, but I wanted to ask, why wasn't Bean and Bark with Fang and Superstars? Would that be explained in the comic coming up?
Maybe.
Interesting. Oh. Here's one from Michael B. Did Sega have any input when you introduced Bean and Bark in Archie issue Sonic 160? I've noticed that their personalities remained largely intact following the Super Genesis wave and the shift to IDW.
Don't remember receiving any notes on them when I debuted with 160. And then when we brought them back for Seasons of Chaos, I intentionally tried to, reuse what I had done before because I like that dynamic. I think it's fitting for the characters,
Yeah.
but was fully ready for them to flag it and say, no, that's not what we want to do with them. Dial it back, do it this way, whatever. But I got no notes and I've received no notes since. So it seems like it's stuck.
Ian, you have canonized Bark and Bean and Fang.
I mean, I don't want to say that 100% because there's still stuff happening, but I mean, looks like it is.
You've canonized their personalities. Good job. Alright, here's a question from Chaos Wind. Say in a hypothetical Sonic Rush 3, Eggman Nega makes his own creation to rival Blaze, similar to Metal Sonic. How would you go about creating this rival without simply making a Metal Blaze?
I because I was going to say Metal Blaze. It's kind of hard to say because we haven't seen a lot of tech from him that is just decidedly his style. Like
What
Metal Sonic 3.0 is his, but that's just Metal Sonic with a sick color scheme.
whatever his style even is at this
Like
point.
there are some boss robots that you could argue are not your typical Eggman tech, but he and Eggman work together in those titles. So it's hard to say where the division is design wise. And likewise, when he's kind of doing his own thing without Eggman, we don't see a lot of tech that isn't like stolen from Eggman, or we don't really know what Nega does stylistically purely for himself. So, with that in mind, I'm going to say it's a sick looking Metal Blaze, but with the gold and black paint scheme.
Nice. Here's a question from Michael. Starline's ghost is revealed with proof that Sonic and Surge are brother and sister and that their parents had the exact same relationship, legit 1-to-1. How does the entire cast react? The whole cast, Ian, everybody.
Well, most folks are, a little shocked and upset on Sonic's behalf. Like, oh, that's a bit of a bombshell. My condolences.
Sorry to hear that. That's rough,
Sonic
buddy.
is like, I mean, Sonic might kind of go big oof and not be thrilled about it, but you can't choose your family. He'll roll with it. Surge may just vomit on the spot, like pure unadulterated, just hate vomit. she turns into a Red Lantern. Like she's gonna cross over entire continuities just by that pure rage and disgust.
Oh no.
And then she declares that no, she rejects that. She is not of any kind of blood relation. They're not even the same species. She
No,
rejects your
they aren't.
reality and substitute it with her own. And Sonic's like, hey, you do you. And she's like, stop oppressing me. And he's like, come on, sis. And she's like, don't call me that.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I forgot to do this earlier. There we go. All right, we got one here from Uncle Bean's movie reviews, media reviews. Sorry. Oh, Kyle walked in on Ian kissing Santa Claus. What do?
Yeah, Kyle, what do? We're having a private moment over here.
Don't mind me. I'm just opening up the camera app on my phone. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Chris, he's taking pictures. Strike a pose.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The sloppy, wet tongue. I'm being asked if this needs to be drawn. I don't know.
No. Also, no.
Well, by denying it this much, it's gonna happen.
On a scale of 1 to 10, that ranks as a no.
Is this canon to the Bumble lore? Maybe. Maybe. Scruffy Matt is telling on us to Lee. Canon. Yep. Yeah, everything is canon. It's true. Bumble canon. Fun Floof the cartoon has a question. Hiya, Bumble fellas. Eggman's HQ from Bad Guys and Eggman's Lab from issue 31 were both post-Metal Virus bases predating Eggperial City. Is it possible both of them are pretty much the same location?
I would have to look at issue 31 again. It's been a bit. But the idea is that he has multiple small bases just kind of hidden around to go to whenever he needs something, or like, it's too late to fly off to base Alpha. I'm just going to crash here at base Epsilon. Where's the hangar on that one again?
They're all right next door to Tails' workshops.
It's this whole cul-de-sac of egg bases and then one Tails house.
Well, I hope that Tails is a good neighbor. He's not. All right, Overlord X has a question. Is Kit secretly the mastermind behind a lot of Surge's actions? To be a sort of twisted mirror of Tails, it would make sense if behind that brainwashing is someone just as twisted as Starline.
Yes and no. Yes, in that when he has an initiative, when he has an idea, he can steer Surge in that direction. We kind of saw that in Imposter Syndrome, where he kind of says, "Okay, what do you want to do? Here's how we're going to do it." But in terms of he's driving the whole time, no, he is completely dependent on Surge's whims and will. He will go where she goes, even if he knows it's not a good idea deep down. But when she says, "Okay, you're supposed to be the smart one, do a smart thing," he will. He will be able to competently figure out where they can go. But he is so browbeaten and programmed, he is not capable of that kind of Machiavellian manipulation.
Yeah.
Presently.
Yet.
That's not a hashtag knowing smile. I just don't want to, toss that out there and then, Evan or Danny or somebody takes him in a new direction. And, question comes back later. Well, you said it was this. And it's like, yeah, and other writers did stuff with it. That's how writing works.
I'm going to throw out a hashtag, I don't know, smile. I don't know.
Hashtag confused shrug.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, confused shrug is like my default state these days. So, I don't know. What I do know is we have this question from Michael H. Can Tails beat Eggman with a Metal Gear? Metal Gear. Metal Gear.
Who has which gear?
I don't know. Top Gear?
Actually, that begs the question: who would pilot which one?
Metal
I
Gear.
mean,
Metal Gear Rex.
now this is actually kind of giving me pause. Which gear would they prefer? I mean, Arsenal gear is kind of like Eggman style. Here's a giant, you know, crush all opposition type ship, but it doesn't have quite the flair for it. I mean, the Rex has that kind of clunky style of the Egg Walker that might be more his style,
Mm-hmm.
but the mass produced nature of the Ray is Badnik esque. And the thing is, both of them can roar, which is exactly what either of them would implement. So,
Coin toss, really, honestly.
you know, I might be inclined to give Tails Metal Gear Ray just because some of his tech is a little more organic in nature, whereas Eggman's tech is generally more clunky and sharp edged and a little blockier. It looks like it's got some heft. He wants something that looks like it's got some weight to it. Generally speaking, I know there's exceptions to both. So maybe Eggman and the Metal Gear Rex and Tails and the Ray. But I'm not 100% certain on that. This is the hardest question we've ever received on this show. This is a moral conundrum I don't know if I'm prepared to handle. Hmm.
hmm. Hmm. Well, guess we'll just have to get some nanomachines, son. All right. Switch over to some super chats again. This one is from Oscar the Bearcat. And this is a considerably hefty donation. Thank you very much. The Neo Diamond Cutters travel to the pirate Shatter Space where they meet Tangle's counterpart, Lemur de Loopy. How long can Lanolin survive 2 Tangles? How long does Whisper last being around 2 versions of her Madagascan Madeline?
uh you know what? I'm proud of you for that Luffy comparison. It's obvious, it's right there, but it fits. That is the correct incarnation.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I guess so.
I mean, Tangle and her counterpart are going to get along swimmingly. Like they're swinging from the top mast. It's a miracle the boat is even sailing in the right direction, given that they're just kind of flinging around. Lanolin wants to go back immediately. This is no way to run a ship, and they were busy doing something else. Why are they in the shatter space? She wants to go home. Actually, she doesn't really like the water. It really weighs her down with all that fluff. Whisper, help me out here. And Whisper's the one steering the boat.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, obviously, she's the one in the command of that ship. Hey-oh!
She is in fact. She is in fact the one who set that ship sailing. Good for her.
Oh, and all her little wisps are like crew on the ship, swabbing the decks and trimming the mizzen mast and whatnot.
Nice. Nice.
Luffy Tangle's like getting them little bandanas and tiny little pirate eye patches.
Yes,
It's
yes.
adorable.
Captain Whisper. Scurvy Pirate Dog has a question. The Sonic Channel has revealed Super Eggman in its final chapter. Your thoughts again? And how does the Sonic Cast react to Eggman's form?
One, jealousy that they got to do it first. Two, relief because it's finally happened. I mean, sure, it's like some kind of weird Phantom Ruby alternate reality nonsense, but it's there. We can cite it as a thing. That's what Super Eggman looks like. Hot diggity. 3, trifle disappointment that again, it's part of their own weird isekai goofy alterverse thing, so it's not like hard canon, but still, it's there. It occurred. We can, at least lovingly remember when. Was there a second part to the question? I already forgot.
How does the Sonic cast react to Eggman's form?
Oh, horror.
I mean, yeah, terrified.
Like he was bad enough just being a tall, round guy. Now his face is on burning golden fire on purpose. That's a bad thing.
There you go. That is bad. That is very bad. All right, here's one from Might of Geberra. Does Game Sonic's multiverse include the Omniverse plus theory by Mark Grunwald and etc.? It's basically the idea that the multiverse is an all-inclusive and has the capacity for everything. Omni equals all.
Maybe.
Possibly. What do you think at home? Leave your answer in the comments down below. Or in the chat if you're listening right now. JCR1216 has a question. A god decides to make a deal with Whisper. She can bring back the diamond cutters, but at the cost she will have no memory of Tangle. Does she do it?
Depends on what era Whisper we're talking about.
Yep.
If we're talking pre-Tangle Whisper miniseries, yes. A little bit of heartbreak over the decision, but yeah. If we're talking present day Whisper, no. Hesitation, deliberation, regret, sure, but she's learning to move on. They are lost, and that is a chapter of her life that has been put behind her. It is time to heal and grow and move on. And it's what the team would want for her. And she knows that. And it's a bitter pill to swallow, but she will move on and remember them fondly.
All right, here's one from Lord Van Oscaro. This one's also a rather large donation. Thank you. Do you think a Disney Nights into Dream movie would work? If it was done in the style of Fantasia, visual storytelling accompanied by music and a different style for each dream knight's visits as they help the dreamers through their troubles.
Wow. Yeah, maybe. That sounds neat.
I think that would be perfect.
Golly, a whole like big budget audio visual experience like that? Yeah. That'd be lovely.
Well, somebody pitch it. Will it be a musical? I mean, it will have a lot of musical elements at least, because that's very important for nights.
I would say make it more, keep it orchestral, like the Fantasia parallel that's
I
been
mean,
drawn
yeah,
here.
yeah. I mean, you got to have at least a pop song, "Dream Dreams," but yeah. And here's a question from Happy Times. If all the hooligans were brought to North Star Island, how would Trip have gotten along with Bean and Bark?
um, she'd find Bean funny, I think, once she warmed up to him and realized that he's not really a bad guy. He's just volatile. And Bark would be the big brother that she needs.
Yeah.
Bark would be running interference against Fang, and we would have seen a quicker turnaround, I think, than what's in the game.
Mm. And here's one from DDR Master M. Santa returns to the North Pole, but something's in his bag, and it's a baby lemur. It's Elf with Tangle in the role of Buddy. Tang Elf. What happens?
Dang elf. Good lord.
You should be proud. This is your doing, Ian.
Oh, and I love it.
Okay,
That
good.
that is incredibly awkward, and that if you didn't say it, I would. So bravo. Tip of the hat to you there. Uh Now see, I never watched Elf, so I'm like fuzzy on the details, but the concept is Tangle is brought up amongst the elves in the North Pole, yeah?
Pretty much.
And I mean, you this happy, bouncy, vivacious individual in a very industrialized complex,
I
that's
don't
gonna cause problems,
I
but
don't I don't think much would change, honestly.
and she wants to do good, she wants to do well, and she wants to be friends with everybody, and she wants to hang off that thing over there by jumping off of that thing over there.
Yeah, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Wait, hold
And,
on.
maybe Rudolph wanted to go on that joyride too, kept up in that stable for so long. His nose lit up. They could see where they were going. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, here's one from Sonic Mania 2099. Hey Ian, if Surgeon Kit go good, which I'm hoping for since they're terrible villains, will we, the fans, finally learn their origins before Starline?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like them having a big question mark over where they're from. Leave that open ended. I mean, that's part of the tragedy of who they are now is you don't know who they used to be.
Yeah, I suppose. Although you could be even more tragic if we did know.
Maybe, maybe, but then the question is answered. It's finite. There is no more
Well,
mystery. It's that's it.
well,
It's like giving an origin story to the Joker. It never is enough.
it might solve a mystery, Ian, but we can always rewrite history. Woo woo. Geo Knuckles has a question. Sonic and Sonic Cross Power Rangers Season 3 introduced the Ninja Zords, Red 8, Black Frog, Blue Wolf, Yellow Bear, Pink Crane, and White Falcon. Which of the Sonic cast would be chosen for this version?
Ah, not
This was
familiar.
after they recast Red, Yellow, and Black, too.
Yeah, and that's about the time I started to fall off from Power Rangers.
Yeah, this is after the movie, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the movie kind of overlaps there, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know how the canon works out for that. That and those Zords were lame compared to the Dinozords. Come on, come on.
I think they were just like a stopgap before they could get more footage of the proper swords.
But I don't did any of those have any correlation to the characters? Was it meaningful or was it just they plugged in everybody with the original color coding?
I mean, it was the same. The colors were the same. The characters were the same colors as they were for the
Yeah.
Dinozords versus the Ninja Zords.
And I don't remember everybody after the original 5, 6.
Yeah.
Like I vaguely remember, but it's been so long.
I mean, Rocky was kind of boring. I do remember him being
Was he?
very dull. He's red.
Yeah. Okay. It's.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think yellow was what? Aisha?
That sounds right.
And then black was Johnny Young Bosch. Not his
Yeah.
character name, but that's who it was. That's who he was played by.
Fantastic voice actor. Don't remember a ding dang thing about him being the Black Frog.
Black Frog. Yes.
Yeah. Nah. Like there's not even like good character to Sonic cast parallels to really riff on. It's just
Okay. Adam was his name. That's right.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. It's like because it wasn't even like a interesting transition between the old style to the new because it was just here's the colors again. There was no, as far as I remember, no like thematic or meaningful
Yeah.
progression. It was just like here you get a new mecha and you're wearing the same color. It would have been interesting if like some of them switched up their colors because of whatever those meant or whatever the Zords meant. But no. So honestly, for this, I'd say take your favorite 5 Sonic characters and just plug them in. It's not going to make that big of a difference.
I do remember. Yeah, it's actually posted a GIF of this scene, but I did remember that Adam was very disappointed that he was a frog, while everyone else was
Mm.
all these, cool animals. He's a frog. It's like I'm a frog. Yeah, frogs are cool. What are you talking about? All right, here's one from Mace. So about piracy in Blaze's world, are they going to start crawling out of the works when they find out that Blaze is away? Would love to see a Sonic version of the Four Emperors from One Piece.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm taking my cue from the Japanese media. They're the ones who established that Captain Whisker was dead and that the pirates were pretty much wiped out. I just picked up that baton for the what was it, the 2022 annual? That was a 2020. What the standalone Blaze story where she decides to take a vacation.
Yeah, yeah, that was a while ago.
That was just me picking up their thread and running with it. So I don't know if we will see a return of the pirate robots, or maybe we'll get something new.
Hmm. All right, here's one from Morless. What if Tangle had to team up with Rough and Tumble to save the world? How would it go?
Uh Surprisingly well. It would be a comedy of errors to be sure, but
Yes.
they would succeed. I think she would manage to be plucky and upbeat enough to kind of wrangle them into a functioning trio. And maybe they would, huff and puff without taking orders from somebody that isn't, part of their dynamic duo. But energy's kind of infectious. And all right, so she's got a couple of good ideas and she gets in on the rhyming scheme with them. So, okay, maybe she ain't all that bad.
Nah, nah, she's not that bad. Come on. Come on, guys.
No, maybe they're like, no, you can't join the rhyme. That's our thing. And she's like, all right, can I beatbox for you then? Add a little bit of a rhythm to it. And like, oh, like she's just divined the purest truth they have ever heard.
That's right. All right, let's switch over to some standards for a bit. This one is from Sonic White. Since only male hedgehogs can go super, could any Joe Normie male hedgehog go super?
I don't think so.
Thank you for calling him Joe Normie and not Joe Nermy. All right, here's one from Peanut. Oh, what do you find easier, writing the build up to a romantic relationship, the whole will they won't they shtick, or writing the relationship itself?
Right in the relationship itself.
The
Like,
romantic, the build up is kind of actually so overdone and boring now. I'm like sick of it. Like
uh,
just kiss already.
I mean, once a couple of characters are, you know, over all that stuff and they're just happy together, then you got a fun dynamic. And
Yes.
that's a lot easier to work with for me. Getting to that point and, having them discover these feelings and come to understand that about each other and about themselves and all that entails, that's tricky for me. I don't feel like I'm particularly great at it, and I think it's because I overthink it to the point where it's like, is this too mushy? Is this too saccharine? Is this too trite? Is this contrived? Am I falling on tropes? And it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing to do.
All right. Here's a question from Johan R. Will we get another villainous organization similar to the. And that's it. Similar to the what? Similar to the what? Help me.
Johan! They got him! They must have drove a stake through his heart. Johan! I pine for you.
Maybe similar to the two bad guys? Similar to Deadly Six? Similar to I don't know.
Well, I mean, if we take some of the most recent.
There we go. Similar to the Dark Legion in terms of strength, resources, arsenal, and number of personnel in the comics. Okay.
I don't know, honestly.
A league of creepy voyeuristic grandpas? I hope we never get that again.
Like, the thing with your giant faceless evil organization like the Dark Legion or the Dark Egg Legion or even the Battlebird Armada is, you need troops for that, and you need, you know, reasons why you have this army of whoever's to do bad things. We only really care about the principal drivers of that, the leaders, the generals, whoever, what their relationship is with the core cast. But it's not as easy to manage as, say, the Badniks, which are just robots. I mean, even Gun, is like they have robots. Yeah, there are soldiers involved, but it's just the robots. So I'm not saying no, it's impossible. I don't foresee it happening anytime soon, but I could be wrong.
All right, here's one from Leon D. How would you handle a storybook game set in the musical Ride the Cyclone, if either of you are familiar? Who replaces the 5 kids and Karnak? And most importantly, does Virgil get replaced? I have never heard of this.
Sorry, I have no idea.
Ride the Cyclone. That is I mean, may not be obscure, but it's obscure to me. Oh, first performed in 2008. Well, I mean, that's not not really a copyright free story, so I'm sorry. Here's one from Aleph Null. Would Charmy watch Coco Melon?
I heard Jennifer say yes. I don't know what Coco Melon is.
I think it's a YouTube channel for kids.
Oh, then yes.
My 8th graders love it.
Yeah, the 8th graders really like it, apparently.
Okay.
Or no, they actually hate it, apparently. No, they secretly love it. That's probably why. That's probably why they keep screaming whenever you put it on. But apparently it is not good for kids.
Oh, no. Okay.
But it's about 3 hours long? Is it just like the thing you put on? Like,
yes.
like,
yes.
like...
It's all musicals with
it's
computer-generated kids that are ugly.
It's an IRL Eggman plot, and it's working.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's about all I know about it, is that it was a kid's thing. I didn't know what it was. 3 hours long. Here you go. Shut up, brat. Now, Charmy watches... Charmy watches Skibbity Toilet. As he should. Red Reaper has a question. How much stronger is Super Scourge over Supersonic? Base Scourge is about 2x overpowered Sonic plus Shadow. And Anarchy Barrel creates stronger, longer-lasting super forms. So together, 4x, 5x?
Comparable. Don't don't try to apply hard math to this.
Too much math.
It is very much rule of cool,
He
what you
is
need in the moment.
he is as powerful as the plot needs him to be. Sorry, power scalers. Your scale is not applicable. Ethan M has a question. If you could have any non-work related superpower, what would it be?
I always come back to this one. I would take Cypher out of New Mutants and be able to speak any language instantly.
I mean, that is work related though, Ian. Because
Well, yeah, okay.
you
It could be
work work with a lot of international non-English speaking
Yeah,
people.
all right, phooey.
Sorry.
Okay, fine.
It didn't used to be that way, but you know.
Fine. Yeah, all right. Spoil sport. All right, fine. Optic blast.
Optic blast.
Yes.
I mean that could also be work, you know. Optic blast some words into the wall. I mean,
Is it really work when you're having that much fun?
Okay, fine. I have no idea. Would teleportation be a thing that would count as a work-related superpower?
Are you using it for work, or are you just using it to get around and do your chores faster?
I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool that I could just go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure.
I'm going to rescind the optic blast and go with Superman style flight.
Or fly. Yeah, flying is cool.
Yeah. Just to go out and zip around in the air for a bit and come back. I've always wanted to do that.
That would be fun. All right, here's one from Moon345. How do you imagine the story of Undertale playing out if the human that falls into the underground is Dr. Eggman? Genocide route or a twisted pacifist route? I'm going to say they all get turned into robots. So neither, I guess. I think that's the fascist route.
I mean, he might take a general pacifist route, just kind of schmoozing his way through. But once he gets to Metaton, then all bets are off. He's going to hotwire that thing and make it his new killer robot. And then we're in for a bad time.
Yeah. Good. And here's one from Qatar Station. What if Sonia the Hedgehog was sent to Camelot instead of Sonic? How would Sonic's spoiled sister reaction to the whole settling and these knights equivalents of people she never met be like?
Well, I mean, she sees herself as royalty. And here is a kingdom that is clearly in distress due to poor leadership. It falls upon her and her station to rise to the occasion and protect the lower caste and take command. She's not really one for usurping other kingdoms. That's not exactly proper, but goodness, the wizard woman called her in, and now this talking sword is being sassy, so she might as well put an end to it. She beats the various knights, and it's like, no, don't commit honorable suicide there, Galahad. I defeated you. You work for me now, right by conquest. I'm going to make things better. Stop being so dramatic.
Don't sass me, sword. All right, let's switch back to some super chats for a bit. See if we can finish off as many as we can. Butter Noodles has a question. What would some Dr. Starline Mortal Kombat fatalities look like if he was a character in the game? He is Mortal Kombat as you want.
Oh, goodness. Well, kids, stop listening. Go to bed. Let's see.
He replaces your entire skeleton with a metal virus skeleton.
This is Mortal Kombat, Kyle. No, 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 no. See, he uses the warp topaz to open a portal somewhere in your bowels and opens the other end in space, so the vacuum just sucks it all out.
Cool. Convenient.
Uses the tricore for super speed and does like a fist at a North Star 1,000-point punch, and then you swell up like a balloon and pop.
All right.
Tricore with the power setting just grabs you by the top of your head and forces you to kneel. Now, granted, that just means that your shin bones pop up through your knees, so now you're on eye level with him, but it works.
Whatever works.
There's a quick little like Chun-Li style spinning bird kick with the poison barbs.
Ooh.
The alternate character just kind of staggers and gags for a minute until they, choke on their own vomit and just keel over. You can do lots of stuff with Starline.
Oh, that would be interesting. Terrifying. All right, here's one from Cameron D. Hi guys, with no restrictions, how would you write Mephiles the Dark back into a mainline game, side game, or comic? And would this be the same Mephiles we saw in 06 or a different one?
I mean, he's a time traveler by trade. And technically, Blaze still has Iblis inside of her. So, there could be some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff where, yes, Sonic and Elise snuffed out Solaris, so it never existed. But Iblis still exists, ergo Mephiles must exist, because Iblis wasn't destroyed when Solaris was destroyed. And if you're kind of shaking your head going, what? Exactly. Maybe not even give an excuse. Just say he's a time traveler and he's a dark gremlin thing that lives in shadow. He made a cutting of himself and it grew like a plant. It doesn't matter. What matters is getting that wonderfully hamtastic, bombastic Ow the Edgelord back.
Please don't live in shadow. He's not very habitable. You can't. He's not really meant for that.
The only thing is he would need a nerf power-wise, because to freely travel through time is extremely broken. There's no excuse for him to not win every time. Being able to control his molecular structure so that he can be as tangible as he wants, that's fine. That means you can do all sorts of delightfully brutal things to him and he can just go and fall apart into shadow and come back again. It's great. Some of the little minion thingies, also great. Lots of stuff to beat up and fling away as he's like dancing around in the air going, fight them, my puppets, fight them. Just Mephiles is great, and I love just how unapologetically camp he is. If just his origin wasn't so bloody convoluted.
And he's voiced by Dan Green.
Just exquisitely.
Oh, he is only rivaled by Infinite in terms of out the edge.
Infinite is like decaf Mephiles.
But Infinite is I mean Infinite's like, he's maybe surfing.
Infinite is
he's like
Mephiles at home. It's Kirkland brand Mephiles. It's no, not even close.
No, not even Kirkland. He's Great Value brand. Discount Mephiles, yeah. Infinite is a Walmart Mephiles. Oh man.
The only thing with Mephiles coming back is what is his motivation? And what it was in 06 was to get back with Iblis and fuse once more to be whole, which I think is a actually great character motivator. I am not whole. I'm missing a part of my very being, my essence, and I want to be returned to it. Whether you want to play that as like uh, a kind of family dynamic in a weird way or a more spiritual aspect, it's still a somewhat relatable drive, and that's great. It's just that means he has to be going after Blaze 24/7 because that's where Iblis is, unless we start playing hot potato with the fire demon. And then once he gets it, that's the end game. You've got Solaris back, and we already saw that. So what do you do with him that's a bit fresh? That's a new direction. Maybe he doesn't know Iblis is still around. Maybe he thinks he is going to be forever alone. And so then what is his motivation after that? Revenge? World of destruction? Maybe. Tormenting others just for the giggles? That might be fun.
Nice. All right. Here's another question. This one is from Chaos Sonic 1. This might kill this headcanon for others, but it always bugs me. People constantly consider Shadow and Amy as Silver's parents, but that would be impossible due to two things. One, Shadow was in prison for 200 years. Thoughts? That's only one thing, but okay.
It is something that's come up because there were a lot of weird parallels. Number one, that Silver was, decidedly based on Trunks. And I think it's quite obvious that Shadow is the kind of Vegeta of this group. It makes Amy default to the Bulma, which isn't really solid. I mean, if anything, Tails is the Bulma of the group, but there are no solid one-to-ones throughout the whole thing. You start trying to get too specific with it and it falls apart. But there was other stuff like it was something in Sonic and the Black Knight. I'm gonna get this wrong with the names, but the fact that Amy was Nemu and Shadow was Lancelot and Silver was I can't remember now. Not Galahad. That was Knuckles. Point being, within arterial lore, Silver's character was the child of Shadow and Amy's characters, which kind of made everyone go, "Beg pardon?"
Galahad, you were right. Galahad
Was it Galahad?
yeah, apparently. Gawain was Knuckles.
Not Gawain. There we go. My bad.
Gawain.
And there's also like the kind of vague mysticism around Amy and the fact that Silver can do chaos control. So it's like, did he inherit Shadow's chaos control and his psychic powers from Amy? And it's all like extremely loose, vague breadcrumbs that don't really so much make a line as they just are kind of scattered in the water for the ducks to eat. So no, it doesn't really make any sense because, like you said, in that timeline, Shadow was sealed away for like the duration. And it's still 200 years. I don't think Amy was, secretly carrying Shadow's love baby that long. That don't add up.
Has it been established how long hedgehogs live in this world?
Well, all right. Fair enough.
Or anybody, actually. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I mean, if that is your head canon, if that's your ship, if that's how you want to connect the dots, go nuts. I'm not going to shoot it down. But
there's also, the whole thing like time travel is a thing.
Yeah.
A lot of other things are things that could happen. Like,
and Amy's associated with Little Planet a lot. I get it. You could put the pieces together that way if you wanted. I just don't think that's what Sega's doing with it.
Well, no, but who cares what Sega's doing? Except you, I guess you have to, but
I do. It's part of my job.
You have to care, but the rest of us, we don't have to. Screw whatever Sega's doing. We can do whatever we want. It's my headcanon. All right, here's one from C-Man. It's bowling night, and the Sonic Cast are at Bolarama Zone. Villains included. It's neutral territory. How does everyone do, and what/who causes the zone to be shut down accidentally?
Knuckles.
What are you-
Like, it already starts off on a bad foot when he can't actually put his fingers in the bowling ball. No, he's not going to take those gloves off. What are you talking about? He'll just use his thumb.
How could he take the gloves off? He would be taking his hands off. How does that happen?
And, you know, the poor boy, I mean, he doesn't know his own strength, but that bowling ball is going through the ceiling at some point. He's going to just like shot put it down the lane. It doesn't even touch the floor. And it takes out all the pins and the mechanism behind it and the ball behind that. But before we get there, it's, you know, a generally kind of chill vibe. You know, everybody's doing pretty decently. And Tails has figured out the exact torque he needs to put on that ball to make it do that thing where it skates right along the gutter and then gets the 7-10 split. Sonic's pretty decent at it. Amy's using a surprisingly heavily weighted one, but hey, she's good at it. Eggman shows up with his crew, and they are all like decked out in the same shirts. Like they're a full bowling league. The uniforms were designed by Starline. They look suspiciously like his suit jacket, but you know it works for a bowling jacket, so who's going to complain? Orbot gets lost in the ball return at some point because you have to.
I figure
Metal
Orpot
Sonic-
is Eggman's ball, isn't he?
Don't miss this time. Yes, boss.
Just
Just like crawls out of the gutter, it just rolls back up and goes for it. Metal Sonic, who is also wearing this bowling jacket, is here to prove that he is the one true bowling Sonic, except those bladed fingers do not fit in the hole, so he cannot get a proper hold on it. It is driving him crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, Knuckles, bowling ball, ceiling, bad time. Sprinklers turn on. Everybody's got to go home.
Oh man. Knuckles launches the ball into the tiles and all the tiles fall out of the ceiling. Of course. Rude. And we got one from Load. For the upcoming issue with Surge, is it a story that everyone doesn't know that she's evil and only Sonic and Whisper character knows she's evil?
You'll just have to read to find out.
Why? When I can ask you, Ian, and you can just tell me. All the
Because
spoilers.
the whole point of making a product is that you buy it and consume it.
But they just paid us to get their question answered. So they
And that's
paid for
the
the
answer.
product. Okay.
They paid for the answer. I never guarantee satisfaction with the answer. That I cannot do. But the answer is you have to read the book.
You know that old adage, consume product and get excited for next product. Here's one from Hedge. Hey guys, which card has been surprisingly quiet since her defeat? Do you think she is plotting a return, or is she a hit rap artist Granny W in the modern day?
Oh, God. The Witch Carters are her hype crew. Oy.
My name is Witch Card, and I'm here to say.
Debuted at number 275 on the 200 chart. Truth be told, I was surprised we were able to use Witch Cart when we did. So her return at this point is a gigantic question mark. I don't know if we'll ever get to utilize her or the others again. I hope so. A lot of effort went made into sprucing them up and bringing them back, but I don't know.
Maybe. Doomed Guardian has a question. How do you think Sonic felt when he saw the Mario plus Rabbids crossover first get announced? Like, Sonic was Mario's greatest rival and everyone wanted a crossover, but Mario goes for Rabbids instead.
I think Sonic's thinking, oh, dodge that bullet.
Woo!
Just dials up Mario and is like, dude, I am so sorry. It's okay. It's a contractual thing. They're really not too bad to work with. Really? No. No.
I love your Mario voice.
Thank you. It's terrible.
I know, but that's okay. I mean, it makes sense. Sonic does hate well-received games.
Dude, ouch. Big oof.
Thanks, Rye, on that. Thanks to Rye on that one. That one wasn't me, but it's a good one.
Regardless, Rye. Big oof.
I mean, I'll take credit for it if it makes people mad. Just because it's funny. All right, Sep Knight has a question. First off, shout out to Rivals 2 that is a Kickstarter going on right now. Ian, what character are you most excited to explore in Rival 2's story? This is Rivals of Aether, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
Not Sonic Rivals 2.
No, Sonic Rivals 2 already happened.
Now, Rivals of Aether 2, sequel to Rivals of Aether. If you are not familiar with it, just very quick premise. It's basically furry Smash Brothers with elemental powers.
They're not all
Sonic,
furries. Most of them.
Anthros.
It's like 99% of them, yes, but
if you really want to get down to the distinction of scalies and featheries or whatever they're called, you take Avatar: The Last Airbender, take Sonic, smash them together, and Smash Brothers. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like Shovel Knight's in there. Shovel Knight's not a fur. Well, actually, we don't know that.
We do not.
Shovel Knight could be a furry.
Who knows?
Mm.
And the Kickstarter is going on right now to help fund production, and it's just going gangbusters. Like,
yeah,
the various tiers are like unlocking more characters on the starter roster, and incentives like immediately unlocked skins and whatnot. It's going pretty nuts. I am not the lead writer on that story. I am the narrative director. So I did like the core story outline, and I'm doing the lore checks on it, the characterization. Uh, how is this playing into Aether Studios' grander plans for the Aether media empire that is slowly growing? But I am really impressed with, one, the amount of work that this indie studio is doing to produce this game. I mean, it looks fantastic. And two, just the sheer passion that the fan base has supporting it. It's great. So I'm kind of humbled to be part of this program and this process, as something that's growing into something really big.
that's awesome. Yeah, go check out Rivals of Aether 2 on Kickstarter. Do it.
But the question was characters and getting into them. So
Mhm.
again, I'm not directly writing it, but the ending of Rivals 1 kind of ends on a big old question mark. Like, what was that? What happened? And Rivals 2 really addresses that. Like, it's kind of the central conceit of the whole thing. So, Rivals 1 established the world and set up a lot of pieces. Dungeons of Aether, which is a roguelike RPG that's within the same universe, started to pull back the curtain on more of the lore. And then Rivals 2 is just going to dump a big old bucket of lore all over your head. Get ready for it. This is the next tentpole game in the Aether franchise.
Nice.
I hope that's okay to say that. Sorry, Dan.
Oh, it's fine. Get the people hyped, Do some hype. Here's one from one watcher. Meph's bio in Sonic Runners claims Meph was born from a fragment of Solaris, implying the same thing as the Prima Guide, that Solaris extends beyond the flame of hope. How much salt should this be taken with?
At least a shaker. I mean, one would say that Iblis was a fraction, and then those two fractions came together and made the whole. I'm pretty sure that everything has been resolved with the two of them. It's if folks are looking for tangents to explain away more Solaris, I don't think it's there. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I think folks are maybe reading too much into certain word choices, or certain word choices were made without a sufficient amount of thought put behind them. I don't know.
When would that ever happen? It's Sonic. John L. has a question. Dear Ian, you get to bring back the character Scratch. Pitch how he would work in a 3D game to Sega. Make him the big bad with his walk-around capsule and shuffle Beanville residence skills.
Like Scratch from Scratch and Grounder?
Yeah. That's what it seems to be.
Make Scratch the big bad?
I mean, why not?
It's like saying make Orbot the big bad.
Why not? Please. I want.
Like, are we talking?
I want this. Now that is what I want.
Like, are we talking joke big bad or like legitimate big bad?
Ian, do it, Ian. Don't cop out on this. How? No. Or but
like it's a legitimate question because like Scratch's entire thing is that he's a goober.
Yeah.
He is the lackey. He is, well, even if forgetting losing Grounder from that scenario already like cripples the character. Coconut's arguably less so because he wasn't as common within. I mean, it's kind of a trio, kind of do. You know what I mean? Point is, Scratch isn't meant to be the big bad. He's meant to be the whipping boy of the plot. He does something dumb and bad and is immediately punished for it, usually in comedic ways. So if we're talking just like comedic big bad, like he just happens to fall upwards into success and thinks that it's his own brilliance or whatever, that's fine. That's funny. That's a story to be had there, and that's just a extension of what he's there for. Set him up for the fall. And the higher he climbs, the further the fall is going to be, and it'll be hilarious. That's great. That's fine. That sticks true to who the character is, what his narrative purpose is, what you can do with him. You're not really betraying it. If we're talking serious big bad, no, that loses who Scratch is. Scratch is an egomaniacal idiot. Having him remotely competent in any believable way loses who he is. You might as well just make a new avian robot bad guy at that point.
I suppose. Whatever. All right, here's one from Allison S. Flamingos gain their color from eating shrimp. Since Islander flamingos may eat normal food, do you imagine their color may differ? Maybe there are designer shrimp that functions like hair dye. Maybe.
That's an interesting concept. Cosmetic shrimp platter.
Yummy.
It's actually kind of a neat idea for like a whole other like fantasy race thing where their pigmentation depends on their diet, and those of the upper class are able to eat what they want or eat specific things to have vibrant different colors, but your lower caste has their limited diet or very specific diet. So you're a beige. That tells me everything I need to know about you.
Oh boy.
Forget flamingos and such. That's kind of a neat angle. I wonder if there's like an actual story to be had there. Yes, Ian. Add another potential project to your plate, you insatiable Nimrod.
Yeah. I'm being told to Ian, stop writing a D&D campaign.
I can't help it. I have an illness.
You do. I think you do. Or maybe do write a D&D campaign so we can try and do that. that one show we were going to be talking about doing, but you know, it's a little too much on our plate now to maybe do that. I think we would have players now, though. I don't think that would be a problem, but yeah.
No, but we need to get caught up on our own BumbleKast obligations before we think about adding anything else.
Pretty much. Anyway, here's one from Hearts 13. Remember Stephen King's The Shining themed hypothetical episode? Remember Stephen King's The Shining themed hypothetical episode of Sonic Boom starring Mark the Tapir? I see the Purple Bandicoot twins speaking in unison at the end of Eggman's Hall as Cubot is riding a toy tricycle. I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I guess.
Is someone going to draw this?
All work and no play makes Eggman a dull boy.
Yes. Who are the Purple Bandicoot twins' names? Jeez, I know they're only like really in one episode, but I can't remember.
Blanking on it.
Yeah, I am too. But I'm just like Cubot riding a toy tricycle is a great one. Percy and Stacy, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. And I don't think Stacy even had a voice line, did she?
I don't know.
I know Percy had like a little bit of something in one of the episodes, but I don't know if Stacy even ever said anything.
Cubot comes around the corner on his tricycle. Come play with us. I would, but I'm not even sure how I'm pedaling this thing.
The power of funniness. That's how he's doing it. Whatever makes it funny.
Eggman's chopping down the door, but he's using Orbot to do it. Orbot smashes through. Here's the boss.
Terrifying. We're losing it. We're getting toward the end here. All right, Media Muncher 69 has a question. Nice. Mecha Mark 2 versus Metal versus Mecha Mark 1. Who's winning?
Man, fried. Okay, Mecha Mark 1 versus Metal versus Mecha Mark 2.
Correct.
Is that it?
Yeah. Not in that order. That wasn't the order given, but yes, those are the people involved.
Okay. Talking three-way free-for-all, or is Metal trying to make his way through Mega Man style? I think that would have some impact on it. I'm inclined to say Metal, just because Metal is more like Sonic in terms of speed and ability and just application of skill, and we know Sonic can beat Mechas 1 and 2. That's established. And I'm gonna say Mecha's gonna go down. Mecha 1 is gonna go down first, because as big and sturdy and intimidating as he is, Metal and Mecha 2 are just gonna tear him to shreds. They're way faster. They're way nimbler. They do a lot more. Mecha 1, not a chance. Metal and Mecha 2, that'll be glorious to watch, but I'm going to give it to Metal in the end.
Meanwhile, Mecha 3 is taking a nap. Never even woke up.
They'll let me out eventually. Just you see. They wouldn't let this design go to waste.
It's been 25 years. I think it's a little...
Any minute now.
Nope. I think yeah. I think that ship has sailed. And not like the ship, but like the, I don't think it's going to happen. Here's one from No Originality. Let's lighten things up with this funny question. What is your funniest moment you have ever experienced in your life? Also, yes, I'm asking you too, Kyle.
Ah, goodness.
You're
Okay, a
really
couple
putting
spring
me
to
on
mind.
the spot, and I'm someone with a horrible memory, so
Well, I got a couple, so that'll give you time to think.
okay.
Uh, when we first moved in, or when we were first getting our current apartment, we were allowed into the, just base apartment to do an inspection, make sure everything was finished correctly. No marks on the floor, no obvious dents in the ceiling, that kind of thing. And I went to check the shower to just see if the plumbing worked. Mind you, this is the dead of Canadian winter. And I looked at my wife and the woman showing us around and said something snarky, pithy about, "Oh, do the pipes work?" and flipped the handle. And the shower hose was pointed right at me as I flipped that handle. And so I got blasted full force with that cold, no heater running yet shower water. And immediately was drenched.
Good job.
And Aaliyah, to her credit, did not laugh out loud.
Really? Why not?
She allowed me some shred of dignity.
Okay.
The woman showing us around looked like she was going to faint, like, "Oh God, this poor man." And I flipped the water off, kind of stand there for a second, go, "Well, it works."
Yeah? I mean, I guess that's one good way of one good way of figuring it out.
It was very cold after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Other one that immediately springs to mind was in a high school production of, I forget the name of the play, but the point is, I'm standing almost front and center on the stage, and I pull a gun on the other characters,
Okay.
and somebody had been messing with the prop off stage. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh no. Oh no.
And the clip fell out of the gun.
Okay.
This is not during dress rehearsal, mind you. This is live performance.
Well, at least it's not a real gun, I hope.
No, it was a stage gun. But, I step on it to cover it and just continue the act. And behind me is a set of French doors leading off stage.
Yeah.
So, in character, I demand everyone to look the other way and try to kick the clip off stage. The clip loudly skitters, hits the wall, rebounds back, skitters exactly where I kicked it from. Biggest laugh we got in that show all night.
Well, it works. Oh man. Why can't I remember things, Ian? What is wrong with my brain?
Well, I gave 2
Thank you.
and you gave none. So that
I guess
spreads
that
out. You can
evens
take
out. I guess that evens out. I mean, I know there are many things in my life that have happened like that, but I'm like, hey, I can't remember a specific moment like that. Ah. Oh well. We do have one more super chat, though, for this
really, we
evening.
got through all of them this night?
No, we didn't get through
Oh.
all of them. Like the people who sent in multiples are
Okay.
yes. But we've answered one from everyone who sent one this evening. So we're gonna say super chats are closed. If you send in any like at the very last minute here, we're not gonna answer them tonight, but we will get to them eventually in one of the upcoming priority episodes. So thank you everybody. But our last priority question is from Musa Fig. Why do power scale Sonic so low? Not only can he fight divine beings, he's also a speedster. Feels like he'd be on Cell Dragon Ball Z level in terms of power. Here, Ian, let me answer this one real quick. So, the reason why we power scale Sonic so low is because it's funny to watch power scalers squirm.
No.
Oh,
Maybe for you.
well, I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to be objective and honest, and
Are-
if we're just looking at Sonic, just plain old vanilla Sonic, he is incredibly powerful, but he is not remotely on DBZ level.
Ian, please, please, you don't have to play up the act. You can say you're just doing it to screw with people. It's okay.
No, no.
It's funnier
no,
that way.
No, it's funnier if I'm being legitimate and they're still being mad about it. I'm not baiting anyone. They are the ones responding.
Yeah, well,
I'm just telling it like it is.
but it's funny
Cell,
though.
Perfect Cell is a planet buster. Sonic is a Buick buster.
Maybe.
Now you get up to like Supersonic, sure, that changes the conversation. But that's like saying Goku versus Super Saiyan Goku. They're different. Completely different.
Who would win in a fight, Sonic or Goku?
Which era of Goku?
Who cares? They're never gonna fight, so.
You say that.
Ian, please don't do no. Please, no knowing smiles now. Of all times. Of all time.
Not a knowing smile, but a conniving smirk.
No. Cross him over with Godzilla, not DBZ.
I'll have Sonic as Goku. What kind of Nermy he is.
We're done.
Are we?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, we are.
Oh.
It's been 2 hours, Ian.
Okay. If you really want to wrap it up on that note.
I'm going to wrap it up on a note of making power scalers squirm. Really annoying them.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who listened for submitting your questions. Big thank you to everyone who supported us with your super chats. Apologies to those we couldn't get to. We will try to get them to them as soon as we can. Big thank you to Jennifer R. and Professor Rye for managing all those questions. And once we wrap up, please head over to bumbleking.com to find the links for the Sonic Superstars charity auction supporting Sick Kid Foundation. The funds will go to children battling all sorts of horrible and sometimes terminal diseases, and every dollar helps. So, you are getting a gigantic box of signed Sonic memorabilia, and you know that your money is going to a fantastic cause. It's running from now till December 1st. So if you're listening to the rerun on Monday, you still have time to bid. And yeah, the bid's kind of climbing, but it's okay to indulge because you're doing a good thing with it. Yeah. See where I'm going with this?
Do
All
it.
right, so we're done. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Catch you later, everybody.